All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
San Francisco Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 107. Pick up one Clyde Stevens. Released yesterday from San Quentin and failed to report to San Francisco parole officers today. This man is described as medium height, weight 140, dressed in a blue suit.
Fill her up with cracked gasoline, Harry.
Yes, sir.
And say, how about some of those Rio Grande free gifts for my kids for Christmas?
Okay, sir. Here's the latest copy of the Calling All Cars News. It'll give you full information.
Well, what's this? I see Rio Grande has a new gasoline. Rio Grande G-Gas, huh?
That's right.
Well, what's the idea?
Well, sir, there are a lot of motorists who want the cheapest gasoline they can buy. A lot of bootleg brands selling at cut prices that are mighty poor quality gasoline. So, Rio Grande has created this brand new G-Gas to protect motorists from bootleg quality. You see, it says right here on the pump, G-Gas exceeds United States government specifications number VG-101.
What does that mean?
Well, our government has set a standard of quality for gasoline, and it isn't safe to use gasoline under that standard. Mighty few of these cut-price bootleg gasolines even come close to that standard. But G-Gas is guaranteed to exceed government specifications on every point. So, for those motorists who want a low-priced gasoline but don't want poor quality, Rio Grande now offers low-priced G-Gas.
Oh, but how about me? I've been using Rio Grande cracked gasoline. Should I change to this new low-priced G-Gas?
No, sir.
Well, why not?
Well, you're getting even more value for your money. Rio Grande cracked is refined to exceed United States government emergency specifications. It contains tetraethyl anti-knock, and the very fact that it's used in more police cars, fire engines, and emergency equipment than any other brand proves that you can't get a better gasoline for your car. No, sir. Rio Grande Cracked is still the best gasoline value on this market. But for those folks who can't afford the slight extra cost of police car performance, Rio Grande now offers the finest gasoline made in a low-price field, G-Gas.
Now it is our pleasure to present Sheriff John A. Miller of Contra Costa County, who will speak to you from San Francisco. Sheriff Miller.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The rehabilitation of the criminal is a vast subject, a subject much too vast to be discussed in the short time allotted to me. However, there is merely one point I wish to stress here. No matter how inadequate prison facilities may be for rehabilitating the criminal, certainly he can never be made into a useful citizen by dumping him back on society before he has paid his debt. The knowledge in the underworld that paroles are a cinch breeds crime. Why should a man go straight when he knows that even if he is sentenced to prison for life, he can beat the rap within 6 or 7 years by shrewd agitation for parole? If we are to bring criminal activities to a satisfactory deadlock, we do not need a more humane attitude. We need a more stringent parole system. If there is any doubt in your mind as to the truth of what I say, listen on and hear what one parole violator did within 3 months of his release. His is not a unique case. In my opinion, it is the rule.
Stand and face the court. Before I pass sentence upon you, have you anything to say?
Nothing to say.
Clyde Stevens, this court has found you guilty of 9 charges of robbery and hereby sentences you to San Quentin Penitentiary for the term prescribed by law. Court is adjourned.
Term prescribed by the law, eh? How big a rap is that, Mr. Edwards?
Well, prison board will probably fix your sentence in about 5 years.
That's too long. How soon can you spring me if you get to work on that parole board?
I may be able to get you off about 2/3 the sentence.
What's that amount to?
About 3.5 years.
Go to it. If you're any kind of a mouthpiece at all, you ought to be able to get me out.
Yeah? Well, of course, it'll be a pretty heavy fee.
Don't you worry about that none. You spring me out of the big house, and I'll have gold-lined pockets in 24 hours.
So Clyde Stevens, robber, goes across the bay to San Quentin, and his attorney immediately begins the fight for his parole. Sentiment is appealed to, and political pressure is brought to bear. 3 years pass, and finally Edwards informs his client he will be freed at the next meeting of the parole board. A short while later, in the prison yard at San Quentin, Stevens confides to a friend.
Well, Rudy, I'm all set.
What do you mean you're all set?
I'm crashing out of this joint as soon as the board meets.
Yeah?
Sure. I just heard from my mouthpiece.
Boy, you sure are lucky. I've tried to get out of this joint a 6 times, but they always get me, and then it's a few months in solitary.
Yeah, I know. You don't go about it in the right way. Saws and bent wrenches. Yeah, what you need is a gat.
A gat? Huh. And where the devil can I get a gat?
Hey, listen, Rudy. How'd you like to team up with me?
Why, swell. But how?
I'll get the rod into you.
You will?
Sure. Now, you get a couple of guys you can depend on, and as soon as I get on the outside, I'll figure some way to ship the guns into you. We join up as soon as you make the break, and by that time, I'll have some joints cased. Why, pal, we'll make that Dillinger mob look like sissies.
That'll be okay with me.
All right. Now, stop monkeying with files and wrenches and stay out of solitary, and you'll be at the business end of a 45 within 90 days.
Stevens, the board feels in granting you this parole that you have learned your lesson, that you realize the error of your ways, and that you'll not repeat your offenses again.
Oh, no, sir. I won't.
I'm sure of it.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, you will be released this afternoon in time to catch the 5 o'clock ferry. You will be expected to report to the parole office in San Francisco at 9 o'clock in the morning and inform them at that time where you will be living and so on and so on. Now, you understand, of course, that you will be required to make regular reports to the parole board, and you must by no means overlook this highly important obligation. We're doing you a great service, and we do not want to feel that our work on your behalf has been in vain.
So on October 15th, 1934, 2 months before the completion of his minimum legal term, Clyde Stevens walks out of prison a free man. Sentenced to serve from 5 years to life, he had actually spent but 3 years and 5 months in San Quentin. On his first night of freedom, Stevens heads straight for his old hangout, a noisy restaurant on Columbus Avenue.
Well, Clyde, how does it feel to be on the outside?
Swell. Just swell. These drinks, these dames, the music. You forget how swell things look like they are after you've been caged up in a big house.
Yeah, I know. I never forget how lonely I was in Leavenworth that time I took a rap for counterfeiting.
Well, let's not think about that. We gotta make plans.
I got 'em all made.
Huh?
Sure. You're coming with me to Benny's shack over on Sherman Island in the Sacramento River as soon as you're checked in with the parole office.
Checked in with the parole office? Listen, Al, I've had my belly full of that law. That parole office is the last place I'm gonna go.
Yeah, but they might come after you.
Oh, no, they won't. You and me are gonna pull a couple of jobs so I can pay off that mouthpiece of mine. Then we'll lay low at Benny's joint over on the Delta until we can spring a couple of pals of mine from quitting. And after they get out, we're going to blast this Pacific coast wide open. Knock over a couple of $1 million for ourselves, and then take it on the lam for some island in the South Seas that the bulls never heard of.
9 a.m., October 16th, 1934, in the parole office, San Francisco.
Who you got coming in today, Henry?
Clyde Stevens, a bank robber.
What is his record?
Oh, plenty bad. They set him up for 5 years, and he didn't even serve his minimum sentence.
Politics.
Oh, I suppose so.
Sure. Some of these stuffed shirts on the prison board had our job for a little while. Maybe they wouldn't be so eager to let these thugs loose.
Still, what can you do? Both Quentin and Folsom are packed to the rafters. They got twice as many men in Quentin as it was built for.
Yeah. I don't suppose it ever occurred to the boys to build another prison.
Well, it costs money.
Yeah, sure, and it costs money. But it costs money to support an army of police and patrol officers to catch these men when they get out. Oh, I tell you, Henry, the whole system's corrupt. The result is, well, we have what amounts to a subsidized criminal population. We're supporting a gang of outlaws on the taxpayers' money. And what it costs to enforce the law. And what it costs in human life and the loss of property. I tell you that...
All right. Don't get on the stumble, boy. What time's your bank robber due?
He's a half hour late.
Less than 24 hours out of prison, and he's broken his parole already.
Let's make a leopard change his spots. Better call the police and tell them to go look for him.
Okay.
And across the bay in Benny's shack on Sherman Island in the Sacramento River Delta, Stevens is being entertained by Benny's wife.
You shouldn't say things like that to me, honey. My husband wouldn't like it.
Well, he ain't here and I am, so what, eh? You like me to say things like that, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Kiss me, huh, kid?
Aw, sure.
Boy. So how come you ever lined up with that Benny guy?
Oh, he's all right, baby. Not like you, I'll admit, but he's got a good heart.
A dame like you needs more than a good heart. Hey, why don't you give him the air?
What for?
For me.
Do you mean it?
Sure I mean it. Listen, babe. I'm going places, see? I'm going to knock over the pile of dough in the next couple of months. I'll show you more nice things than that cheap pickpocket husband of yours ever could if he reached the kick of the Prince of Wales. Say, I could shoot the works of that dame like you, Millie. A Rolls Royce, beauty parlors, everyday a swell apartment. Really high-class stuff. How about it, kid?
Sounds good to me.
How's about another big kiss, huh? Oh, boy. Atta girl. When you ready?
Whenever you say.
Swell. Just as soon as I knock over to half a dozen banks, we'll be all set to go.
3 weeks later, November 10th, in a branch bank on Fillmore Street, San Francisco.
Good morning, Mrs. Stanley.
Hello there, Mr. Reynolds. How's the banking business?
Just fine. How's the beauty parlor business?
Booming. Why don't you come over sometime when you're through at the bank?
Well, now
Hey, if you two don't mind, I got a little matter to discuss with you. And I ain't got time to listen to you making dates.
Why, you unmanaged.
This lady's ahead of you, sir.
Oh, yeah? Well, I can't wait. Stick 'em up. Hey, listen, Mark, listen. I mean it now.
Of course
We got this place tied up tighter than this dame's corsets. Now empty your till and shove all the dough you got through that window. Come on, pronto.
Well, but I...
If I hear an alarm sound, I'll pull this trigger. I got everything to gain and nothing to lose.
All right. No, don't you dare. There you are.
Good. All right, Al. Dump this stuff into the bag.
Okay. All right, I got it all.
Okay, let's scram.
Ten days later, outside a branch bank on Piedmont Avenue in Oakland.
You stay by the door this time, Al. We'd been out of luck on that last job if those mugs had been smart. They could have drilled us both.
Okay.
Just keep the joint covered with those two guts of yours.
Right, let's go.
This is the sticker. Hands over your heads, everybody. Come on. Now, you behind that cage there. Just take this sack and empty everything in your till you got into it. Go on.
All right.
Stay away from that burglar alarm. Now,
He's killed Mr. Blinton.
Come on now, hurry up. Your boss ain't hurt. The slug went over his head.
All right. Here you are.
Good. Okay, Al, let's go.
December 17th, 1934, 3 weeks later, in a small branch bank in downtown San Francisco.
Back into the boat, all of you.
No. Don't put us back there. We'll suffocate.
Not in there if you want to live. Get in there. We'll call the bulls and report the robbery after we got all we want. Well, Al, it looks as though we can take our time on this one.
January 8, 1935, in the garage of a fashionable hotel on Nob Hill, time 3 a.m.
Good morning, gentlemen. We're looking for someone?
No, we're looking for a car.
And I think that Packard in the corner will do.
Oh, but that car belongs to
Up with
one
your
of-
hands,
What?
you. Now get back into the office there. Hey, wait a minute. I'll open the door. All right, start her up, Al, when I take care of this bird.
Right.
Over in the corner, you, and sit down. How much dough's in the cash register?
Not very much. That is,
Shut up. I look for myself. Only $10, eh? Well, the call make up for that. Now, I just set this spring lock to be sure you stay right here. And, oh, yeah, I don't think you'll be wanting to call up any friends at this late hour, so I just yanked this wire and this phone out of here, too. Well, so long, pal, and many thanks. Okay, now let's highball.
Next morning, the two bandits, using the stolen Packard, take a bank on Polk Street for several $1,000s. And a week later, in a bank on Market Street...
Everybody stand where you are. This is a stick-up.
Look here, you can't get away with this.
A copper, eh? A copper, huh? Don't reach for that gun, copper, if you want to live to tell the chief about it. We mean business, and we blast down anybody that stands in our way. Copper all citizen and taxpayer. Now stick up your hands. Up, I said. That's better. Now I'll just relieve you of that gun. You might hurt yourself.
Okay, Clyde, I got the stuff.
Good. I nearly had to bump off this Willie boy in blue here. He had an idea he wanted to make a hero out of himself. Let's go.
I tell you, this situation is unbearable. We'll be the laughing stock of San Francisco. You've got to bring those men in.
What would you suggest, Chief? We've done everything we can think of, and still we can't pick them up. Why, they're the most baffling duet of bandits in San Francisco's crime annals.
Now, stop talking like a detective story magazine. Here's what I suggest. How many banks are there in downtown San Francisco?
Oh, about 50 or 60.
All right. Station 2 men in every bank in town. Tell them to shoot to kill. I want those 2 bank robbers.
Yes, sir. I'll get the dragnet out at once. We'll solve this baffling
And with 120 officers staked out in various San Francisco banks, Stevens and Kessel returned to the scene of one of their crimes to hold up the bank on Polk Street once more. It is in the lull before the noon rush when Stevens approaches the teller's window while Kessel waits in the car outside.
Walk over, mister.
What?
You heard me. Empty the cash drawer.
I'll have you know there are 2 policemen stationed here.
Then hurry it up. I haven't got much time. And don't try to signal them or I'll blast you.
You can't get away with this.
Oh, no? Come on. Give.
There you are, but you'll never get through that door alive.
That's what you think. Thanks a lot for the tip, pal. So long.
Oh! Order off fire!
Oh, nuts. Come on, Al. Some bulls are in there.
Okay.
There's another one up on the second floor window.
Well, what are you waiting for? Let him have it. Did you get him?
I don't know.
And although the 2 officers give chase in commandeered automobiles, the bandits easily elude them in the busy traffic of downtown San Francisco. And in the chief's office, a council of war is held with the sheriff of San Francisco County.
Sheriff, I want your help.
It's yours, Chief. What's on your mind?
These bank robbers, they got away from 2 of my men today. That makes 7 banks they've held up in 6 weeks. It's got to stop.
Certainly it should stop.
I want to organize a posse. The biggest posse in the annals? Well, anyway, a big posse. All the men in the San Francisco Police Department and all the men in the sheriff's office. We'll comb every inch of the city and county. We'll get the cooperation of the...
Sir,
Yes, what is it?
we just received a tip that our bank robbers are hiding out on Sherman Island near Antioch.
Oh, good. That simplifies things. Sheriff.
Yeah?
We'll send a detachment of men out there tonight and mop this gang up.
Yeah.
Oh, just a minute. Hello? Yes? What? Yes, you bet we will. Yes, sir, right away. Forget about the bank robbers, Sheriff. We've got a bigger job.
What's that?
4 convicts just kidnapped 4 members of the prison board from San Quentin. What? They had blue automatics. Now the question is, where did they get those guns?
Yeah.
Where'd they get the guns? You asked the dumbest questions, Al. Where do you suppose they got them?
You?
Sure. I stashed them onto the dashboard of a prison truck 3 weeks ago. The boys are out now, and they ought to be here by tonight. Then we'll have a mob. Then we'll show these babies what a bunch of really tough rodmen can do to their tin banks.
While the nation hangs breathless to each succeeding headline, while millions thrill to the Columbia Network's dramatization of the daring prison break immediately after it occurred, Stevens and Kessel are in the shack on Sherman Island awaiting their reinforcements. But the Marin County posse bring their quarry to earth late in the afternoon, and the 4 convicts besieged in the creamery near Petaluma fly the white flag, show the white feather, and come out with their hands in the air. Back in prison once more, the 3 living survivors of the kidnapped quartet are questioned by District Attorney Albert E. Bagshaw of Marin County.
Boys, I'm not going to mince any words with you. 2 California laws threaten all of you with death. One says that kidnapping is a capital crime. The other says that any life-termer involved in a prison disturbance in which bodily injury occurs is liable to be executed. The latter applies to at least 2 of you who beat up the warden. Now, we know this is an outside job. You haven't a chance to beat the rap. I want to know where those guns came from.
Clyde Stevens sent them to us.
Shut up, you rat.
Yes, Clyde Stevens, the same guy that's got the San Francisco Dicks on the run. He's been heisting banks. We was to meet him over on Sherman Island when we got out.
You think, you yellow stool pigeon? I'll break you in 2.
Quiet, Christy. That won't do you any good. You're only proving that Mackay is telling the truth. I rather expected you'd spill, Mackay. You haven't changed any since you squealed on that girl and sent her to prison along with you, have you? So Clyde Stevens, the San Francisco bank robber, is also a gun runner, huh? You know him, Captain Dulé?
No, but I was on my way to knock him over when this thing broke. Now I've got him 2 ways against the middle. That boy will be in the can by midnight.
I wouldn't be too sure of that, Flatfoot. That guy's a killer.
It is close to midnight. The delta of the Sacramento River is shrouded in deep fog. Pushing across the slough toward Sherman Island is a posse of San Francisco police and Contra Costa County deputy sheriffs, headed by Captain Dulé and Sheriff Miller of Contra Costa County in a large scow. Close by in a speedboat are Inspectors Linz, Ward, and Johnson.
That must be the house. Those lights you can see faintly through the fog.
Yeah, seem to be the only lights on the island.
Linz.
Yes, Captain.
You and Harrington and Johnson go downstream. We'll close in from upstream.
Yes, sir.
Hide in the reeds close to the shore. In 3 minutes, I'll flash my light for a signal. No, that's no good. This fog's too thick. I'll whistle low 3 times. Then we'll close in.
Yes.
Good luck. All righty.
Yes, Cap?
Steer for the shore upstream from the house.
Yes, sir. Yeah, might run into anything in this fog.
It certainly is thick. There's no danger of a collision, is there, Eddie?
Oh, I don't think so. This ain't anywhere near the main channel. You never can tell, though.
Oh, what the devil?
Must have run aground.
Aground what?
Oh, the one mud flat, I guess.
Well, back her off.
Well, I'm trying to, but she's stuck.
Oh, what a lousy break. And we're only 30 feet from the shore. Hey, we could wade in.
Well, you better not try it. You'll probably sink into that ooze up to your hips.
But we gotta get ashore.
You'll just have to be patient, Cap, till I see if I can get this thing off.
Wonder what's the matter with the captain's boat?
They're sure making a lot of noise over there.
Yes, 3 minutes are up, and he hasn't given the signal.
Listen, somebody's coming from the house.
Yeah, they're heading this way.
We better get ashore. Right. And get your guns out.
Yes.
Hide in these reeds here.
And you should have seen the face on that fool as we drove away from the bank. I bet it was tough to see.
All right, boys, stick 'em up.
Hey, what do you
Get your hand away from your hip.
We're police officers.
Why, you... Wait.
Let him have it, boys!
I don't know. Okay. You got us. Look at my hand. Shot to pieces.
Yeah, serves you right for pulling a gun on an officer. Where's Stevens?
He went east 3 days ago. Before you and him held up that bank on Polk Street, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Lynch.
Yes, Inspector.
Handcuff these 3 men and stay with them. Come on, Harrington. We're going into that shack.
Okay.
Sounds like somebody's having a good time.
Yeah, I guess they didn't hear the shooting.
Uh-oh. We'll you take a look in that window?
Yeah.
Come on now, Millie. How about it? Your husband won't be back for an hour.
Oh, don't look at me like that, honey. You do things to me with your eyes.
Well, there ain't nothing of what I'll do when I get to the
Okay,
picture.
take it up.
Say, who the devil are you?
Police officers, come on, up with your hands.
Who you looking for?
You. What's your name, buddy?
Jack Drury.
Where you from?
Oakland.
Oh, yeah? You're Clyde Stevens. Last address, San Quentin. Next address, Folsom.
Oh, no, officer, on the level. His name's Drury. It isn't Clyde Stevens.
Yeah? Here, take a look at this mug and police record.
Clyde Stevens, wanted for bank robbery.
Yeah, looks like your pal, don't it?
Yes, it does. Will he hang?
You're darn tootin' he will.
Oh, Clyde, honey. They're going to take you away. Kiss me, honey. Oh, kiss your baby. Gee, I'm going to miss you.
Save it, lady, save it. Come on, Stevens. Your apartment's waiting in the city jail.
By the time Johnson, Harrington, and Linz have herded their prisoners down to the shore, Captain DeLay's boat is free, and the officers return across the black, fog-shrouded waters of East Bay with their captives. They leave the boat in Antioch, and as they are walking through the deserted streets of the little town to their waiting police cars.
Why don't you confess, Stevens? Bank robbery and gun running are too nasty raps.
I don't know anything about him, and I ain't going to confess. You can bump me off.
Look out, boys. Stevens is making a break for us.
Halt! Stop or I'll fire.
Go ahead.
Hey, look! You're after the arms of that patrolman down at the corner.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm going to fix that guy. What's the big idea, Stevens?
You just ain't never going to take me alive. Go on, pump me off.
I don't
ain't
think that'll
gonna
be
swing.
necessary, but if you don't come quietly, why... I guess we'll have to take you in unconscious. Come on, boys.
For 3 days, San Francisco police questioned Clyde Stevens, and finally he confessed to the bank robberies and to his part in the San Quentin prison break. On January 23, 1935, less than 4 months after his parole from San Quentin, Clyde Stevens was sentenced to Folsom Penitentiary along with his partner, Albert Kessel, there to spend the rest of his natural life, unless another sympathetic parole board frees him in 1970, when he will again be eligible for parole. Police have to meet emergencies many times every day, but so do you. Every time you drive your car, you meet driving emergencies when you need extra power and speed to snatch you out of the way of traffic dangers. It costs you no more to use the same gasoline that police cars and emergency engines use, Rio Grande cracked gasoline. It has been selected to power more police cars, fire engines, ambulances, and other emergency equipment than any other brand. This is proof that Rio Grande cracked is not only the speediest and most powerful gasoline, but also the most economical. You get more for your money in Rio Grande cracked gasoline.
San Francisco police calling all cars, attention all cars, a cancellation broadcast 107 regarding Clyde Stevens, a parole violator. This man is now in custody. That's all.
Free gifts for every boy and girl are offered by the Rio Grande Oil Company. Ask your Rio Grande dealer for the latest free copy of the Calling All Cars News and read how to get your free gifts. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, saying good night for the Rio. Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars. Attention all Los Angeles County Sheriff's cars, broadcast 108. A dead body has been found under the Spring Street Bridge in North Long Beach. That's all. Rosenquist.
By a sensational announcement a few weeks ago, Rio Grande revolutionized the gasoline industry. Today, the independent dealers selling Rio Grande's new G-Gas have the gasoline bootleggers on the run. Refiners of sulfuric, carbon-laden gasolines are losing business, regardless of their cut prices, because motorists now know that no gasoline is safe to use unless it equals United States government specification number VVG-101. Rio Grande offers motorists the first low-price gasoline guaranteed to exceed this government specification. Rio Grande's new G-Gas sets a new high-quality standard in the low-price market. If you are tempted to buy cut-price gasoline, first ask to see a written guarantee that it meets government specifications. If it doesn't, don't buy it. Drive into a Rio Grande station. Look at the written guarantee on the G-Gas pump, proving that it exceeds United States government specifications. The new G-Gas is the finest gasoline in the low-priced field. But make no mistake, fine as it is, Rio Grande's G-Gas is not as good a value as Rio Grande cracked gasoline. For very little more per gallon, you get 100% efficiency, tetraethyl, and police car performance. You see, Rio Grande's cracked gasoline is refined by a patented process so that it exceeds even government top-grade emergency specifications. That's why police officials of so many communities have chosen cracked in competition with every other gasoline available to power more police cars, ambulances, fire engines, and other emergency equipment than any other brand. So if you are a user of low-priced gasoline, protect yourself by getting Rio Grande guaranteed G-Gas. But if you want the best buy for your money, more speed, more power, more mileage, more value, then use the gasoline police cars use. Rio Grande cracked. Tonight, Calling All Cars presents as guest artist the well-known English stage and screen star, Miss Elsie Prescott, who will be heard in tonight's dramatization in the part of Mrs. Sadie Ransom. And now it is our great pleasure to present Sheriff Gene Biscaluz of Los Angeles County. Sheriff Biscaluz.
Good evening, my friends. There's an old saying that there's honor among thieves. During the racketeer days of Prohibition, the press, the literature, and the cinema of the nation made much of this alleged stern code of ethics and honor which prevailed in the underworld. We law enforcement officers, who should be in a position to know, find little evidence of this asserted quality in the criminal. We find the opposite. There is no honor among thieves. The habitual lawbreaker, we find, is a conscienceless creature who is interested only in saving himself. The story which we bring you tonight from the office of my Bureau of Investigation tells of a group of self-styled hard guys who operated upon this unsound logic. They ran true to form, just as they all do. For when you bring any would-be big-shot criminal out into the open and take his gun away from him, he becomes the most spineless, loathsome, and skulking parasite our civilization has produced, and foolishly tolerates. And now a word to the youngsters who may be listening. Don't believe that these criminals you hear about on Calling All Cars are dashing, heroic, and romantic figures, for they are not. They are dishonest, lazy, and stupid. Dishonest and lazy because they would rather steal and earn a living. Stupid because they think they can get away with it. And boys and girls, they never do.
It is a few days after Christmas in 1932. Mrs. Grace Walsh and two girl friends who are house guests have just retired when there is a knock at the door. Bertha Gray, one of the guests, goes to the door.
Who's there?
Is Grace home?
Who is it?
A friend of hers. Let us in.
Just a minute. What do you want with her?
Never mind what we want.
Well, look here now. You can't push
Smack
past me
her
like
one,
that.
Shorty.
Don't you dare.
Grace, it's a hold-up. They just knocked out Bertha. Help, please.
Shut
help
up, you.
us.
I'll let you have it.
Don't point that gun at me. You scare me.
All right, be quiet then.
Just a minute there, Mrs. Walsh. Where do you think you're going?
Why, that is...
Back in the bedroom there. I want to talk to you. You two, into the bedroom here.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. Joe.
Yeah?
Come on in here. Shorty, frisk the joint.
Okay.
What are you going to do, kill us?
Oh, no, don't worry. You two just sit down on the bed there, back to back. That's it. Now, Joe, tie them together with the bed sheets.
All right.
Fine. Look like a pair of Siamese twins. Now, Mrs. Walsh, give me a diamond ring.
I haven't any ring.
Listen, lady, I ain't got any time to monkey. Now, you give me those rings or I'll let this gat go right in your face. You'd look pretty then, wouldn't you? A hot lead slug might make your mascara run a little, huh?
You can't frighten me, you hoodlum.
I ain't trying to. I'm just telling you what's going to happen to you unless you give and give quick.
Oh, tell him, Grace. Let him have the rings. Why, my goodness, if he shot you, the bullet might kill me, too.
He hasn't got the nerve.
Oh, no? I'll give you 3 to tell me where they are. 1, 2.
Oh, Grace, for heaven's sake, tell him.
Are the rings all you want?
What else you got?
Nothing.
You don't think we're interested in you moles, do you? Where are the rings?
They're hidden in my shoe under the bed.
Where?
Right in front of you.
Oh, yeah, I see 'em. Is this all there is?
Yes. You can't get anything for those rings now. You know diamonds are cheap.
Yeah, I know.
Why, you can't get $100 for them.
I'm afraid you're right. That guy sure played us for suckers, putting a finger on this joint. Why, he said the stuff was worth $1,000.
They cost me nearly $1,000, but you can't get over $100 for them. You try to sell them to a friend. But, of course, I know where you can get more for them.
Where?
I'll buy them back from you.
For how much?
I'll give you $500 for them. They mean a lot to me. They have a sentimental value.
Sell them back to you and have you squawk to the bulls? Not much.
I won't squawk. I swear it to you.
You'd better not, Squawk. Look here. See these slugs in this gat? We'll fill you full of them if you squawk.
But I won't. I just want to get my rings back.
Well, I'll get in touch with a man who'll talk to you about it in a couple of days.
Thanks a lot.
And remember, no squawking to the cops.
Aren't you going to untie us?
No, that moll that's out cold in the other room will unloose you when she wakes up. Come on, boys, let's get out of here.
I must say you 3 are perfect gentlemen.
And a half hour later, in the apartment of Mrs. Sadie Ransom, proprietor of the Elite Hotel on South Broadway, the 3 thugs are crouched around the kitchen table inspecting their loot.
Hey, Sadie, got a pair of pliers?
Yeah, somewhere's in here.
Bring 'em in.
Okay, honey.
Shorty, did you call that double-crossing Socks and tell him to get up here?
Yeah.
Can you imagine it, fingering a joint like that for us? Guaranteeing us that there'd be $1,000 at least in it? No, we get a 3 bum diamond rings.
Here are the pliers, honey.
Okay, thanks. Now I'll just pry these sparklers out of the settings and throw the gold away.
Well, how about that one there? That's a pretty swell-looking stone. That set in itself ought to be worth something.
All right, we'll keep that one the way it is.
Say, Mickey,
What is it, Joe?
I don't like the looks of this thing.
What do you mean?
I want to get out.
Okay, get out.
Yeah, but I want my cut.
How can I give you a cut when I don't know what it's going to be?
Well, you could give me, say, $30, and I'll forget I ever went down there with you.
What's the matter? Got cold feet?
I don't know, Mickey. I just don't like it.
Okay, scram then.
When do I get the dough?
When we pedal the ice, I'll let you know.
Okay, Mickey. No hard feeling.
Nah, forget it.
You know how it is with the wife and the kids, and I don't want to get in no jam.
Yeah, I know how it is. Now scram.
Well, so long, Mickey.
So long.
What a yellow rat he is.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him. He'd squeal at the drop of a hat.
Don't you think we ought to bump him off and make sure he don't?
Not yet. Just keep an eye on him. See who that is, will you, Sadie?
Okay. It sucks, Mickey.
Send him in here.
Well, boys, how'd you make out?
Why, you double-crosser, we ought to rub you out.
Now, wait a minute. What's the beef? I ain't done nothing.
You told us there was $1,000 in rocks down there.
Well, there is.
Here,
Didn't
call
you get
this-
him?
Call this $1,000? Look, 3 bum rings. They ain't worth $100. The dame herself said so.
She offered to buy 'em back for $500, and that's the most we could get for 'em anyway.
Now, wait a minute, you guys. How much do you know about diamonds?
Well, anybody can see that these aren't worth anything.
Yeah? That's all you know about it.
We ought to rub you out for giving us a bum steer like this.
I didn't give you no bum steer. Well, I can go out and get $1,000 for this one ring here alone. Let alone what you can get for the 2 smaller ones.
You can?
Sure.
Okay, you take the ring and get $1,000 for it.
Wait a minute, Mickey. You ain't going to let this cheap tin horn walk out of here with that rock, are you?
Say, Shorty, I heard about enough out of you.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
I got a mind to fix you.
All right, Shorty, cool on.
I don't see no sense in letting this mug have the ring.
Listen, Shorty, he knows where to peddle it and we don't, see?
Well, I'd rather get $100 for it and have the century in my pocket than let him sell it for $1,000 and never see the color of his money.
I ain't gonna take a powder on you.
How do I know that?
Listen, Shorty, Socks is on the up and up. He'll do the right thing.
Well, if he don't, I'll take him for a nice long ride.
You sure sound like a tough guy, Shorty.
I know my racket, and I say you don't get the ring.
And I say he does. Do you want to make something of that?
Well, if he don't waltz back here with $1,000, it'll be on your neck, too, Mickey.
Don't worry, boys. I'll get you $1,000 for it. I know a gambler down on Spring Street. He'll buy it.
To the gambler on Spring Street goes Socks Brewer, the finger man. Within a half hour, he is sitting in the big shot's office.
Well, Socks, what can I do for you?
I want a little dough.
I ain't lending money.
I got security.
What?
This rock.
Ain't worth much.
I know it.
Where'd you get it?
What do you care?
I don't.
How much?
I'll let you have $100 on it.
That's okay.
There you are.
Thanks.
Can do a little gambling?
Maybe.
Socks does a little gambling that night, and before he leaves the joint, he has lost the $100. Next morning, Mickey calls him.
Hello.
Hello, Socks. This is Mickey.
Yeah?
You get the dough for that ring?
Say, Mickey, I'm in a spot about that.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mickey, I lost the ring.
You lost it?
Yeah.
Where?
Say, if I knew, I'd go find it. I stuck it in my vest pocket when I left your joint last night. When I got downtown, it wasn't there. There was a hole in my pocket.
You know where that puts me with Shorty.
Yeah, I know, Mickey, and I'll try to make it up. Just give me a couple of days, and I'll raise some dough somewhere.
You better raise some dough, and you better raise it fast.
And that is the last Mickey hears of Socks. Several days go by, and he and Shorty travel to Long Beach to try to find him, but no one has seen Socks for a week. Shorty is growing impatient. 2 weeks after the robbery, he is sitting with a friend drinking home brew.
If you ask me, Bill, I think they're pulling a double cross on me. My guess is that Socks stole the ring and split the dough with Mickey. I think that mug is holding out.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I never did like Mickey anyway.
Well, you know nobody can double-cross me and get away with it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to have a showdown on this thing right now.
Well, if you need any help, count on me.
Okay, you're in.
What are you going to do first?
I'm going to call Mickey over at Sadie's place and give him just one more chance. Elite Hotel?
Hello. Is Mickey there?
Yeah. Hello, Mickey.
Yeah? Okay. Hello?
This is Shorty, Mickey.
Yeah? Well, I ain't heard from him.
I'm getting tired of monkeying, Mickey. You get that dough before midnight tonight. I'll be over here at Bill's waiting for it. And I ain't fooling.
What was it, honey?
Nothing. I just got 12 hours to live, that's all.
But Mickey does not wait until midnight. By 8 o'clock on the evening of January 17th, he enters Bill's apartment.
Hello, boys.
Hello, Mickey.
How are you, Mickey? Have some beer.
I never touch it, you know that.
Oh, sure. I forgot.
Well, how about it, Mickey? You got the dough?
No. Now, look here, Shorty. You got to be reasonable about this.
I've been
thing.
reasonable, Mickey. Now I want that dough.
But I tell you, I can't find Socks.
I told you not to give him the rock in the first place.
I know you did, but I thought he was on the up and up. How was I to know he'd cross us up?
Well, I could tell by looking at him.
Anyway, I don't think he has crossed us up. He lost the ring, and he's trying to raise the dough somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
Sure. Naturally, he don't want to get in touch with me until he has it.
Mickey, you talk like a baby in arms.
Well, I believe his story.
Well, I don't. Now, listen. I'll give you until midnight to get that dough.
I know, but cripes, what do you want me to do? Blow up a bank? I can't do anything. My hands are tied.
Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go down to Long Beach and try and find that mug. And if we do, we'll get that dough out of him or drop him off the dock in a barrel of wet cement. I'm sick and tired of this talk.
I want to see him just as bad as you do.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. Come along, Bill. We might need your help.
Yeah, you might at that.
The three men get into Mrs. Ransom's car, which Shorty had previously borrowed, and start for Long Beach. But they never arrive as they are approaching the Spring Street Bridge over the San Gabriel River north of the city.
Got any idea where you're going to look for Socks?
Yeah, I have, Mickey.
How about in here, Shorty?
Looks good to me. Pull up.
There's nothing out here. No houses, nothing. What did Socks be doing out here?
I ain't interested in that. Get out.
What for?
Don't give me no argument. Get out.
What's the big idea, Shorty?
This is the showdown. You understand?
Yes, but...
I'm doing the talking. Your turn will come next. I want to know what you did with the money from that rock.
I never got no money for that rock. I told you the truth. Socks called me and told me he lost it, and I ain't seen him or the ring since.
You're lying, Mickey. Sock sold that ring and you split the dough.
That isn't true, Shorty.
Listen, Mickey. Nobody's ever double-crossed me and got away with it. Now, what'd you do with your cut of the money?
I ain't got no cut, Shorty. I swear to God I ain't.
Why don't you stop arguing with him, Shorty, and give it to him? Rub him out.
No, Shorty. Bill, for God's sake, don't. I've been telling you the truth. I swear I
Now,
have.
you can't take it, huh, Mickey?
Sure I can take it. Sure I can. I got more guts than you ever had. I ain't got nothing to lose but my life. I'm clean. I'm on the up and up. Go on, rub me out. Rub me out and see if you can take it. You're a big shot with a rod in your fist, ain't you? You cheap little hijacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't you do a better job on that?
Here. That did the work. Come on, Bill. Let's dump him over this bridge here. Come on. There he goes.
Sheriff's office. Barner speaking.
There's a dead man down here. He's been shot.
Down where?
Under the Spring Street Bridge, where Spring Street crosses the San Gabriel River north of Long Beach.
Who's speaking?
Well, I don't want to tell you.
Why not?
Well, I was out with some other guy's wife when I found the body. I don't want to be mixed up in this. You just come on down here. You'll find it.
Captain Bright and Deputy Sheriffs Brewster, Penpraise, Contreras, Hutchinson, and Barnard drive quickly to the scene of the crime, where they find Mickey's body drilled by bullets lying in the mud of the river bottom. While powerful automobile searchlights play on the scene, the officers go over every square inch of ground for clues.
Oh, Captain.
Yes?
Here's the lead.
What is it, Penpraise?
Yeah, card. I just found the victim's coat.
Elite Hotel, South Broadway. Mrs. Sadie Ransom, proprietor. Bonner,
Yes, Skipper?
go to this address and see if you can get a line on this corpse. Better take the hat and watch along with you and bring this Ransom woman down to the morgue to identify the body. It'll be there by the time you arrive.
Yes, sir. Right away.
And while Deputy Sheriff Barner is speeding toward Los Angeles, Shorty returns to the hotel.
Oh, Shorty, I've been going nearly crazy. Where have you been? Where's Mickey?
Take it easy, Sadie. Take it easy.
What'd you do? What happened?
Mickey and Socks both double-crossed me.
What do you mean? Shorty, where's Mickey? For Pete's sake, tell me.
Mickey's dead. I bumped him off. Oh, pipe down, you dizzy skirt. He's dead, see?
Dead? Mickey dead? No, I can't believe it.
It's so.
And you killed him?
Yes.
Oh, I loved him so, Shorty. How could you? How could you?
He double-crossed me. He told me he and Socks sold the ring and split the dough. We had a fight. He took a pass at me, and I let him have it. Listen, Sadie, get this straight. This is the fourth guy that's double-crossed me, and they've all gone the same way. None of them can double-cross me and get away from it. You get me?
Yes, Shorty, I get you.
Okay, then keep your trap shut. That's probably the bulls now. I'm taking powder. You talk to them, you don't know nothing, see?
Yes? What is it?
Is this one of your cards?
Yes. Why?
I'm from the sheriff's office.
What's the matter? Is anything wrong?
Yes. You recognize this hat and wristwatch?
Why, yes. I think they belong to Mickey Erno, a boarder of mine.
That's fine. Get on your hat and coat. We're going to the morgue. Where have you got that Long Beach shooting posted?
Right there behind you.
Pull down the sheet, will you?
Thanks. Well, is that the body of Mickey Erno, your boarder, Mrs. Ransom?
Yes, that's my Mickey.
And the next morning, Captain Bright holds a council of war with his men who have spent half the night checking up on Mickey Erno's friends, acquaintances, and relatives.
Well, boys, what have you got?
Well, after Mrs. Ransom identified the body, she took me out to Compton, where I interviewed Erno's brother-in-law. From him, I learned the identity of Joe Entriante, who's been mixed up with Erno in some shady deals. I asked Contreras to bring him in.
Where is he now, Contreras?
I got him outside, Captain.
Good. We'll question him a little later. Hello? Yes, he's right here. Just a minute. For you, Bonner.
Oh, thanks, Captain. Hello? Yes? He is, eh? Okay, I'll be right out. Hayes just walked into Mrs. Ransom.
Who's he?
Another pal of Erno's. Mrs. Ransom promised me she'd tip me off if he came around. I'll see you later, boys.
Okay. Better bring in this man of yours, Contreras.
Yes, sir. All right, come on in, Entriante.
Yes, sir.
Sit down, over there.
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Joe Entriante.
Did you kill Mickey Erno?
No.
Who did?
I don't know.
Do you know Mickey Erno?
Yes.
How long?
Oh, about 4 months.
Do you know Shorty Hayes?
Yes.
What did you kill Mickey for?
I didn't kill him.
Now, we know you were mixed up with some shady deals with him.
I ain't mixed up in murder. I got a wife and kids. I ain't hot.
What jobs were you on with Mickey?
Oh, I wasn't on any jobs with him.
We know different.
Well, only one.
Where?
Well, I only drove the car down and drove it back. I'm clean, I tell you. I just drove Mickey down there, Mickey and Shorty. And then I drove them back, and they showed me some diamonds when they got back.
How many diamonds?
Oh, a couple of 3 rings. I'm clean, I tell you.
When was this?
Oh, Christmas week sometime.
Sounds like that Grace Walsh robbery, Cap.
All right. What did you murder Ernie for?
I didn't murder Mickey. I ain't seen Mickey since that night. All right, I was in on that robbery. But I didn't do no bump off.
All right, then. Start talking about that robbery.
And while Deputy Sheriff Barner speeds toward Mrs. Ransom's hotel, Joe Entriante spills, tells the details of the Grace Walsh robbery, talks fast to save his neck from the long stretch from which there is no rebound. And at the hotel of Mrs. Ransom.
Hello, Mrs. Ransom. Where is he?
He just went out for a package of cigarettes.
What is this, a runaround?
No, I swear it isn't. Come in. Sit down. He'll be back in a minute.
I told you to keep him here.
It's okay. He'll be back. I ain't holding back on you. I got a little girl. I ain't getting mixed up in trouble.
When did he come back?
About half hour ago.
What did he say?
Well, he said, I read the paper, and I told him we were looking for him, and he said, what for? And I said, they want to question Mickey's friends. They got Joe this morning, and he turned around real quick, and he says, what?
He did, eh?
And I says, Shorty, I says, don't you think you better report in? I told him I promised to call you, and he said, okay, call the bulls. I can prove my alibi, all right?
And then you let him go again.
No, I didn't. Listen, there he comes up the stairs now.
I hope.
This is Deputy Sheriff Barner, Shorty.
Yeah?
Yeah. I want to ask you a few questions, Shorty.
Okay with me.
Want to take a ride down to the captain's office?
Sure, I just love to ride in police cars. Come on, let's go.
Cocky, self-assured, Shorty Hayes accompanies Deputy Sheriff Barner to headquarters, there to face Captain Bright.
What's your name?
Fred Hayes.
Ever been arrested before?
Yes, twice.
What for?
Shooting craps once, paid a $10 fine.
And the second time?
Picked up for drunk, then they let me go.
This picture here, marked L.A. County number 72228. Who is that Ermine Hayes? You?
Yes.
An alias, huh?
Yes.
Who is Fred Bates?
I don't know.
Fred Miller.
Never heard of him.
And Joe Miller. Not the one that wrote the joke book.
I don't know.
Really, your memory is bad. Because they're all aliases for Fred Hayes. How many times have you been in this jail?
Twice. Only 2 times I've ever been in jail in my life.
Oh, come on now, Shorty. You've got a record as long as my arm. It's all here on this card. Suspicion of burglary, forgery, passing bad checks. You've been on the bad books for 5 years. You're an ex-con, and you served 2 years of a 14-year sleep in Quentin. Isn't that right?
Well, what are you asking me for? You seem to know all about me.
You're darn right I do, and a lot more. Now, why did you kill Mickey Erno?
I didn't kill Mickey Erno.
Ever own a gun?
No.
Then what did you carry empty shells around in your pocket for? Sound like loose change?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You showed Mrs. Ransom a handful of empty shells after you came back and told her that you'd bumped off Eno. Now, why did you do that?
I ain't talking.
No? Now, that won't do you any good. What did you do with the diamond you stole from Mrs. Walsh in Long Beach Christmas week?
I ain't talking.
And how about that poor girl you smacked in the kisser?
I never smacked any woman in the kisser.
No? Well, Mrs. Ransom tells us you threatened to bump her off if she talked.
Well, I can take it, see? But I ain't going around smacking dames or threatening any dames.
You've got some interesting witnesses lined up who'll say you did. Mrs. Walsh has already identified your picture.
I never smacked any dames, except that mall I hit with a beer bottle once. I didn't hurt her none, and she had to come to her anyway.
Now, we got Joe Entrianti upstairs, and he told us all about that robbery in Long Beach. And the boys are bringing in Sox Brewer. And Mrs. Ransom is worried more about her little daughter's future than she is about your threats. And she told us all that she knows. And that'll be enough to put you in a tough spot.
Listen, I can take it, see? You can't scare me.
I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to make you see sense.
Looks like I'm going away for a long time. Looks like my neck's going to stretch. But I can take it, see? Boy, how I can take it. You can't scare me. You can't make me talk. I'm hot.
Who was in on this job with you?
I ain't talking.
Why did you bump off Mickey?
I ain't talking.
Why did you bump off Mickey Yerno?
I ain't talking only...
Only what?
Only I can take it, see? Boy, how I can take it. Go ahead, stretch my neck. I can take it like a man.
Chief Criminal Deputy Sheriff Bright and his efficient officers got them all. Shorty Hayes received a life term in San Quentin for murder, and Bill Doolin, his partner in crime, got the same measure of justice. Sox Brewer went to San Quentin for robbery, and Joe Entrianti, pleading guilty to robbery, got 2 years in the county road camp and 8 more years probation. The ironic part of the thing is that Mickey Yerno had been honest with Shorty, but Shorty operated on the opposite theory from that of your law enforcement officers. With him, everyone was guilty until he proved himself innocent, and he didn't give hapless Mickey Yerno the chance to make the proof.
Thank you, Sheriff Piscaduz. Free. To boys and girls, Rio Grande offers free gifts. And to all motorists, Rio Grande offers more speed than you can ever use, more power than you'll ever need, more mileage, more value for your money. You get all these extra features free with every gallon of Rio Grande cracked gasoline. And it costs you no more to buy this tetraethyl-treated gasoline, refined by the most costly and elaborate cracking process known. This patented process gives you something found in no other gasoline: police car performance.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars. Attention all Los Angeles County Sheriff's cars. A cancellation broadcast 108 regarding a dead body found north of Long Beach. This case is now closed. That's all. Rolls and closes.
Get your latest copy of the Calling All Cars News, given away wherever Rio Grande cracked gasoline is sold. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company. Calling All Cars, the copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 109. Be on the lookout for Jules Rubin, described as white American, age 26 years, 168 pounds. This man is suspected of stealing a valuable diamond brooch from Polly Moran, the moving picture actress. That's all. Roll.
Say, who's putting on this program?
Santa Claus.
Who?
Santa Claus, better known as the Rio Grande Oil Company.
How come? What do you mean?
Well, Santa Claus is always giving something to somebody, and it seems to me the Rio Grande Oil Company plays Santa Claus the year round.
For example?
Well, Rio Grande gives the public this Calling All Cars program free.
So what?
And they give away a free publication every month, the Calling All Cars News, to anyone who comes into a Rio Grande station. And they're giving away junior detective outfits free to thousands of boys and girls.
Give me more.
And Rio Grande G-Gas gives the motorist the first guaranteed quality gasoline in a low-price market.
No, I know the rest. Don't tell me. And Rio Grande cracked gasoline gives more power, more speed.
And it gives more economical miles. Don't forget that.
I wasn't going to forget it. I was going to say it. And also that Rio Grande Cracked is the only gasoline that gives you police car performance.
Hey, wait a minute. Who's giving this announcement, you or I? Rio Grande gives gasoline the most elaborate and most costly refining process known to create cracked gasoline. Yet, it gives the extra benefits of this extra costly process to the motorist at no extra cost.
And there's one more thing that you've given us, Santa Claus.
Yes, what's that?
A sales talk.
And now it is our pleasure to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. The cooperation of law enforcement agencies, be they municipal, county, state, or national, is a vital necessity in our battle against crime. If every group of authorities seek only to cover themselves with glory and refuse to cooperate with other groups, then the criminal has a distinct advantage at every turn. The brilliant success of the Department of Justice G-men in their spectacular battle against crime was helped at every turn of their work by the wholehearted cooperation of local authorities all over the country. Individuals in county and city who have faced their own desire for fame and publicity in their desire to see that criminal brought to justice. It is this sort of cooperation that your police department seeks to give. The story you are about to hear is an example of such tactics. Although the men under my command played a vital part in the capture of the Moran jewel thief, still their part was only one of the cogs in the vast law enforcement machine which, when it functions as smoothly as it did in this case, is tantamount to a federal police force.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, Calling All Cars is proud to present tonight Miss Polly Moran, who reenacts the exciting predicament in which she found herself when she was robbed en route to Hawaii 2 years ago. Calling All Cars presents the Polly Moran jewel robbery. Sunset on the Pacific, and against the flaming rim of the Western Ocean, where nature is burning a day, the majestic silhouette of a luxury liner, the steamship Aloha, Honolulu bound. Tomorrow morning, the lush green islands will greet the gay crowd as they emerge on deck in the sparkling Hawaiian sunlight. But this evening, aboard the Aloha, there is other sparkle. The sparkle of champagne bubbles brimming over crystal glasses. The sparkle of diamonds on the bosoms of lovely women. The sparkle of clever conversation as a dozen world-famous celebrities bandy witticisms. It is cocktail hour in mid-Pacific. In one corner of the smoking room, a group of admiring women are gathered around Polly Moran, famed screen star, who is on a belated honeymoon with Martin Malone, her husband of 6 months. The object of conversation is Miss Moran's diamond brooch, a unique piece which she wears on her blouse.
I've never seen anything like it in my life before.
Where did you get it, Miss Moran? It's stunning.
Well, I'll tell you, this little piece of hardware has a history. Do tell us about it, Miss Moran. Well, it's this way. When I was starting out on the stage years and years ago...
Oh, now, Miss Moran, it couldn't have been that long ago.
Well, I don't remember mentioning the number of years.
Oh, Miss Moran, how you do go on. You're just the same off the screen as on, aren't you?
Go on. Do tell us about the brooch. Well, as I was saying, when I started out on the stage, I decided to buy a pair of diamond earrings. It was probably reckless extravagance, but I've always had a passion for diamonds.
Oh, who hasn't? Yes, but so few of us can afford to indulge in it. But how did your diamond earrings become a brooch?
Oh, I'm coming to that. One day a jeweler I knew in New York suggested I have the earrings made into a brooch, and then I could add stones to it from time to time. I thought it was a good idea, so he created this design. And every time I've been in a hit, I've added a diamond to the brooch. And every time I've been a flop, I haven't mentioned it.
What a splendid idea. From the looks of it, you've been in plenty of hits.
Oh, I'm very modest about that.
It certainly is beautiful. Moran, I imagine you'd be afraid of losing it.
Oh, I've mislaid it a dozen times, but it always bobs up again. It's my good luck piece. My husband scolds me for being so careless about what jewelry I have.
I should think he would.
There he is, coming into the smoking room now. If you'll pardon me, I'd like to speak to him.
Of course. Yes, by all means.
Marty, lend me a helping hand. Save me.
Why? What's the matter?
Oh, those gals over there, they've been driving me nuts. Asking me dumb questions about my pin and dishing the dirt about Hollywood celebs.
Well, the price of fame, my dear.
Yes, but I'm on a vacation. I'm not in an autographing mood.
Oh, by the way, don't forget Captain's dinner tonight.
Oh, that's right. I think I'll go down to the cabin and take a little nap. You coming?
No, I don't think so. Not just yet. I'll join you later.
Okay, Marty.
Miss Moran retires to her cabin and lies down for a nap, leaving the door unlocked so her husband can get in without awakening her. Some time later, she wakens from a deep sleep with the realization that she is not alone in the cabin. Silhouetted against the blue tropical night seen through the open porthole is the figure of a man.
Who's there? What do you want?
Oh, I'm sorry. Gee, I got into the wrong stateroom. Yeah, my wife told me not to take that last sidecar.
Well, you'd better listen to her the next time.
Gee, I'm awfully sorry.
Oh, that's all right, but if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to sleep.
Well, sure. Sorry to have troubled you.
And a little while later, Martin Malone comes down to the stateroom to dress. He awakens Miss Moran, and they speedily make preparations for the captain's dinner. As they are about to leave the room, Miss Moran, putting the last finishing touches to her makeup, turns to her husband.
Marty, hand me my pin, will you?
Yeah, sure. Where is it?
In the upper right-hand drawer of that dressing table.
Okay. Well, I can't find the thing. Are you sure you left it here?
I certainly am.
Well, it certainly isn't here.
What? Let me see. Marty, I remember now. He must have stolen it.
Who must have stolen it?
While I was taking a nap, somebody came in here. I woke up and he sounded drunk and said he'd gotten into the wrong stateroom by mistake.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Oh, what did he look like?
I don't know that either. It was dark in here. Oh, why didn't I turn on the lights? Oh, Marty, I bet that man's got my pin.
Now, wait a minute. Don't get so excited. It isn't lost. Probably you didn't put it in that drawer.
Oh, yes, I did. I remember perfectly. I'll never forgive myself. That pin meant so much to me. It's the sentiment more than the value. Oh, Marty, this is terrible. My trip's ruined.
Miss Moran and her husband immediately report the theft to the ship's officers, who promise their wholehearted cooperation in capturing the thief. In the first officer's cabin, Miss Moran and her husband are questioned.
Now, Miss Moran, do either you or Mr. Malone suspect anyone of taking your pin?
Well, no, I can't imagine who would do it. Certainly nobody we're acquainted with on board.
Say, Polly, how about that big fat guy from Pittsburgh who's always shooting off his face? I wouldn't put anything past him. I always have felt he was a phony.
Well, maybe he's a phony, Mark, but I don't think he's a sneak thief.
Well, he doesn't look to me as though he belongs on a cruise like this.
Oh, I don't think he'd stoop that low.
Well, I'll be darned if I know who to suspect. Unless... Say, Polly, you remember that bird who tried to crash all our parties?
Oh, yes. You mean Mr. Reuben, the one who gets so rough in the deck sport.
Yeah, that's the bird.
What did you say his name is?
Reuben's the only name I know him by.
Let me look at the passenger list. Yes, here he is. Reuben. Jules Reuben.
I wouldn't be surprised if...
Come in. Oh, hello, Mr. Knighton.
Oh, hello, Mitch.
I heard about your pin being stolen, Polly. That's darn tough luck.
Yeah.
I have an idea I can identify the thief.
You have?
Yes. As I was coming down the companionway this evening, about 6 o'clock, I saw a man come out of your stateroom.
What did he look like?
Well, I didn't see his face. His back was turned toward me, but he was short and heavy set.
That's the very man we've been talking about. I'm sure he took it. We've got to get him arrested as soon as we get into Honolulu, Marty.
Not so fast, Polly. If we're wrong, we can get into a nasty damage suit for false arrest.
But I'm sure we're not wrong. I'm positive he is the thief.
over his loud and futile protests, Reuben's baggage is searched. While he threatens the steamship line with devastating lawsuits, every possible hiding place in his cabin is examined. But Miss Moran's pin is not found. Next morning, when the Aloha docks, Polly Moran's first visit after she is registered at the hotel is to the office of Chief of Police Gabrielson of Honolulu. She tells the chief her story.
And so, Chief, I'm more convinced than ever that Mr. Reuben stole my pin. That man has a guilty conscience. Don't ask me why I'm so certain, but I am. Call it a woman's intuition or what you will, but I know Jules Reuben stole my pin.
Well, Miss Moran, we'll certainly do everything in our power to get it back for you. We don't like visitors to the islands to be as unhappy as you are. We'll bring this Mr. Reuben in here and see if we can't make him tell the truth.
Reuben is placed in custody at his hotel and taken to headquarters where he is grilled for hours. But he denies everything. After an afternoon of fruitless questioning, Chief Gabrielson is forced to release Reuben. And Martin Malone persuades Miss Moran to apologize for the inconvenience she has caused him. The Hollywood pair call upon Reuben at his hotel. The alleged garment salesman is surly.
So I hope there won't be any hard feelings, Mr. Reuben. I was sure I recognized you as the man who came into my stateroom last night. Well, I guess I was wrong, and I just want to apologize.
That's about time.
Well, yes, I guess it is.
You realize, I suppose, that you ruined my vacation and made me an object of suspicion everywhere I go on this island?
Yes, and I'm sorry, Mr. Reuben.
I should think you would be.
Well, I guess there's nothing more to say.
No, not that I can think of. You said it all last night. Good afternoon, Miss Moran.
Why, that dirty, contemptible...
Come on, Polly, let's go out in that swell Hawaiian sunshine and cool off.
Oh, I've never been so angry in my life. That beast, that boor. I tell you, Marty, I'm more positive than ever that he took it. I know that's the man that's got my pin.
Apparently, Mr. Reuben's trip was completely ruined by the accusations made against him, for when the Aloha sailed for Los Angeles the next day, he was aboard her for the return trip. Although under constant surveillance throughout the trip, he does nothing suspicious. Nevertheless, he is destined to have a reception committee upon his arrival in San Pedro. For the day before the Aloha is due to dock, Chief of Detectives Joe Taylor of the Los Angeles Police Department receives a cablegram which causes him to send for Captain Jack Traynor of the Fugitive Detail. Captain Traynor assigns Detectives T.N. Erickson and J.S. Cohn to meet the Aloha and arrest Reuben on suspicion of robbery. Next morning, as the beautiful white liner rides at anchor in the outer harbor, the two detectives board her from a bobbing squatter taxi. A few minutes later, the purser is pointing out Reuben to them. But the two officers agree that, lest there be any slip, they will not arrest him until he sets foot within the Los Angeles city limits. That is, until he's on the dock. So it is, as Reuben picks his way down the gangplank, Erickson and Cohn are close behind him. And when he steps onto the dock...
You're under arrest, Reuben.
What?
Will you come along quietly?
Arrested me for that Polly Moran beef, huh? Well, you're barking up the wrong tree. They couldn't pin it on me in Honolulu, and you can't do it here. I'm innocent.
Well, that's okay with us, but you're wanted at headquarters for questioning. Now, how about it? We have to handcuff you and drag you in?
Now, take your hands off me, copper. I'll go along with you, all right.
Reuben is escorted bag and baggage to City Hall, and while his luggage is being thoroughly searched, Captain Traynor and the arresting officers question him in the captain's office. But Reuben sticks to his story.
Listen, boys, I'm getting sick and tired of this persecution. I don't know anything about that pin of Polly Moran's, and she knows I don't. Why, she apologized to me for accusing me before I left the islands.
How come you left so suddenly?
Well, a swell vacation I'd had there. Everybody in Hawaii was pointing at me and saying I'd swiped a diamond pin. There wasn't no sense in trying to enjoy myself in that atmosphere.
What do you find in his bags, Erickson? Nothing much. Clothes, and traveler's checks, but no diamond pin.
What'd I tell you?
Have you ever been arrested before?
No, never.
Well, then naturally, you won't object to being fingerprinted.
I should say I will. You can't treat me like a common criminal.
Fingerprints are a good thing, Mr. Reuben. You see, we'll just take a set of elimination prints and prove to ourselves that you've never been arrested before. That is, if you're telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth, and I refuse to be fingerprinted. I demand to see an attorney.
You're in a funny spot to be demanding things, Reuben. Now, you'll save us all a lot of trouble and excitement by coming into the next room with me until I fingerprint you, because whether you like it or not, that's exactly what I intend to do.
Over Reuben's loud protests, he is indeed fingerprinted. And within half an hour, the records are checked.
I tell you, Captain, you're hunting for a lot of trouble. When I get out of this, I'm going to burn you right. I'll slap a suit on you for false arrest at the same time that I sue Polly Moran for defamation of character. I'm a respectable salesman, and I've never been mixed up in any crooked work.
We'll see. We'll see.
Here you are, Captain. I just finished making the check.
Thanks. Now, let's see. Ah, well, so you've never been in trouble before, huh, Reuben? According to these cards, you were arrested in 1923 for suspicion of robbery. How about that?
Well, it was suspicion. They didn't prove nothing. I was just a punk kid, and I thought it'd be smart to steal a dame's purse. But I give it back, and she didn't prosecute. There's nothing to that beef.
Oh? Well, how about the time in 1927 when you were accused of stealing an automobile in Newark, New Jersey?
That was all a mistake.
Oh, a mistake. What do you mean, to steal the car? How much time did you serve?
Not a day. I tell you it was a mistake.
Why don't you come clean and tell us where Polly Moran's pin is? She's a good friend of our department, and we want to get her pin back to her now. How about it?
Say, I admire Polly Moran myself. I got to know her pretty well on that trip to Honolulu. If I had a pin, I'd give it back to you. But I ain't got it, and I don't know where it is.
Reuben, you're lying.
Now, you listen to me, Captain. I know a thing or two about the law myself. You had your fun questioning me. You dug up a couple of charges against me 10 years ago. But you can't prove I ever served a day's time. You've searched me, and you haven't found a pin. You haven't got a single piece of evidence against me, and you can't hold me on suspicion any longer. You got to prove my guilt, and you haven't proved a thing. I'm going to walk through that door and out of this joint a free man, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Am I right?
I'm afraid you are, Reuben.
Reuben was right, and the officer knew it. Convinced, though he might be of Reuben's guilt, he could not hold him without evidence, and of evidence he had none. So Reuben goes free. But even as he is rolling east in a transcontinental train, the net of the law is slowly closing in on him. The next morning, a New York City detective named Wesley Juber points out an interesting news item to his partner, Detective Edward Erbacher, as they report for duty.
Eddie, take a look at this story in this morning's paper.
What? Oh, this one there about Polly Moran having a diamond pin stolen from her on the steamship Aloha?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I read it. What about it?
You suppose that this guy the Los Angeles Dicks had to let go is the bird we've been looking for those steamship burglaries the past few months?
Hardly likely that the guy would work the Atlantic and the Pacific.
Well, I think it's worth a try.
What are you going to do?
Check those steamship lines that reported robberies and see if the name Jules Reuben appears on the passenger list.
2 days' inquiry informs the officers that the name Jules Reuben has appeared on 6 different passenger lists during the preceding 3 months. And on every boat on which Reuben had sailed, burglaries had occurred. Suspicions definitely aroused, Erbacher and Juba request all steamship companies operating on the West Coast, the East Coast, and the Great Lakes to report if one Jules Reuben books passage on any one of their boats. They have not long to wait, for within a week the phone rings on Juber's desk.
Detective Bureau. Juba speaking.
Lieutenant Juba, this is Mr. Hornbottle, passenger traffic manager of the Bermuda East Coast Steamship Line.
Yes?
You requested information regarding one Jules Reuben?
Yes.
Mr. Jules Reuben and wife have booked passage from New York to Nassau aboard the SS Hamiltonian.
When'd she sail?
Day after tomorrow.
Good. Reserve a cabin next to Mr. Reuben's for a Mr. Edward Erbacher.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and thank you.
What is this?
You're taking a trip to Nassau, son.
What?
Yeah. Our Mr. Reuben's sailing day after tomorrow on the Hamiltonian. And you're going to become his best friend on the trip, you lucky stiff.
Well, that's swell, but why don't you take the trip yourself? You're better at that sort of thing.
Don't worry. If I could have, I would. But I got to appear in court on Monday on that Moretti case. The job's yours, Eddie. Stick with him and knock him over as soon as he pulls a job.
But Reuben pulls no jobs on this voyage, and Erbacher must remain content only to make the acquaintance and not the arrest of the gentleman. Back in New York once more, Juber and Erbacher shadow Reuben and his wife to their hotel, engage a nearby room, install a dictaphone behind the drapes, learn that Reuben is leaving the next day for San Francisco. The officers watch him as he boards a westbound bus and then return to headquarters.
You think we ought to let him get out of town, Eddie?
Sure, we haven't anything on him. Give him enough rope and he'll hang himself.
Yeah, but we won't be there to jerk the rope.
Well, we'll do the next best thing.
What?
I'm going to get wires off to the chiefs of police in Buffalo, Detroit, Chicago, Omaha, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, and every other town of any size along the route that bus is taking. I'll give them Reuben's description. Ask them to shadow him if he leaves the bus in their city. That boy doesn't know it, but he's going to have more police attention than the President of the United States on his transcontinental trip.
The telegrams go out, and for nearly a week there is no answer. Then to New York Police Headquarters comes a reply.
To Detective Lieutenant Edward Erbacher, New York Police Department, New York City. Your man arrived here by bus this morning, registered at the Golden West Hotel, went aboard the steamship Aloha on a visitor's pass this afternoon, remained about a half hour, then checked out of hotel and purchased a railway ticket to New York. Left Oakland Pier on eastbound train at 8:35 tonight. Inspector Thomas McNulty, San Francisco Police Department.
And aboard that eastbound train, as it is crossing the prairies late one night...
Porter! Porter! Come here, I say.
Yes, boss. Can't you read that sign? Quiet is requested for the benefit of those as is retired.
What do I care for the sign? I've been robbed.
You've been robbed?
Yes, robbed. Somebody just reached in between the curtains of my berth and lifted my watch and pocketbook. Call the conductor at once.
Yes,
I say at once.
yes, sir, yes.
In Chicago, when Jules Rubin changes trains and boards the 20th Century Limited for New York, every move he makes is watched by railroad and city police. And as this crack flyer roars over the water-level route along the straightaways bordering Lake Erie, its whistle crushing the black stillness of the summer night, 4 sleeping passengers are relieved of their valuables by the unseen hand of the midnight marauder. And early the next morning, at a small station in upper New York State, a passenger seeks to alight.
Beg pardon, sir, but are you getting off here?
Yeah, why?
But your ticket reads through to New York.
What's it to you? You're only the conductor. I've decided to stay up here for a couple of days.
Yes? And I've got orders to take you into New York.
For what?
We were tipped off to look for you. We've seen you pull every one of those jobs last night.
You're crazy.
We know you've got stolen property on you. We're going to lock you in a compartment until the company police take you off the train at the Grand Central Station.
Is that so?
Okay, Eddie. Give the boys the highball.
Railroad police meet Rubin when the 20th Century pulls into the Grand Central and are questioning him when Detective Erbacher, Rubin's erstwhile traveling companion on the trip to Nassau, arrives.
All right, Reuben. Come clean.
I tell you, it's a lousy frame-up. I'm innocent. Innocent, I tell you, and you know it.
Hello, Reuben. How things?
What? Who are you?
Don't you remember me?
Never saw you before in my life.
You really shouldn't forget your old pals like that, Reuben. Don't you remember the pleasant trip we had to Nassau and adjoining cabins? Of course, you didn't know then that I was a police officer.
You're crazy.
And the rubbers, the three-handed bridge I played with you and your wife? How was the little woman, by the way?
Leave her out of this, will you? She's absolutely innocent.
How about you?
I guess you got me all right. Now, you keep my wife out of this, and I'll talk. I'll tell you everything I know about those steamship jobs. I'll even tell you about one you don't know about.
If you think you can, I'll put in with you. I've checked you both ways against the middle. I know all about you.
Yeah? Well, you don't know about that Polly Moran's brooch.
I know you stole it.
Sure I did, and I pulled a fast one on those dumb dicks, too. Sure I stole it. But they never found it on me, did they?
No. What'd you do, swallow it?
And get 100-carat stomachache? Not much.
Well, come on, spill. How'd you get it off the boat?
I hid it in the light fixture in the ceiling in my cabin, right after I snatched it, see? I knew those Los Angeles dick had picked me up on the return trip, so I just left it there. And then a couple of weeks ago, I checked when the Aloha would be in dock, went out to San Francisco, walked on the boat, went to my cabin, and there was the ice right when I'd left it, right in the light fixture. Better than a safe deposit and cheaper.
Yeah, but not safer. What'd you do with it?
I sold it to a guy on Howard Street in Frisco for $300.
You got gypped. It was worth $5,000.
Yeah, I know. But what can a guy do? And anyway, it wasn't the money that mattered so much. It was the principle of the thing, boobing all those smart coppers.
I wonder who's going to laugh last.
Rubin, expanding as he reflects on his hitherto successful career of crime, makes a 6-page confession of his burglaries, admitting to the theft of nearly $100,000 worth of property, on which he had realized little more than 10% in cash. While Rubin remains in the federal detention prison awaiting trial, Detective Erbacher journeys west to recover some of the stolen property, among which is Miss Moran's brooch. Finally, one day in November 1934, 3 months after Polly Moran's lucky brooch had disappeared, Detective Erbacher hands it back to her in her dressing room in the Capitol Theater in New York, while she is making personal appearances.
I don't know what to say to you, Lieutenant Erbacher. Really, I don't know how to thank you.
No need to, Miss Moran. This is part of our job. Very happy part, I admit, when we can return to people the things they've lost.
Well, there's only one thing I have to say, Marty.
What is it, Toots?
I'm sorry I ever apologized to that guy, Rubin. I knew he had my pin all the time.
Jules Rubin went on trial in the United States court, as most of his crimes were committed upon the high seas. And on October 8, 1934, he was sentenced to serve 2 years on the charge of theft committed on an interstate passenger train. An additional 2-year suspended sentence was imposed for the theft of Miss Moran's brooch while on board the Honolulu-bound steamer.
Thank you, Chief Davis. This was one Calling All Cars program without shots and screams and sirens of speeding police cars. But there are very few communities where you cannot hear right now the shriek of the sirens as ambulances and fire engines speed to the rescue, or police cars pursue some lawbreaker. More of these cars are using Rio Grande cracked gasoline than any other brand. And Rio Grande was chosen because it gives better performance in emergencies. To you thousands of motorists who now have your tanks full of Rio Grande cracked gasoline, police car performance means safer driving. You always have the power and speed to snatch your car out of danger in traffic emergencies. Drive carefully so you won't need the help of police, but can enjoy police car performance in your own car.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, to cancellation broadcast 109 regarding the theft of Polly Moran's diamond brooch. The suspect in this case is now in custody. That's all. Rosenquist.
Free gifts for every boy and every girl. Everywhere Rio Grande cracked gasoline is sold. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsay, bidding you good night